All right, guys, so this morning we are going to go a few houses down from where we're staying in Bonnyville to Lawrence Ference's house. Lawrence is another bison rancher, and we'll be kind of touring around with him today, checking out some different bison ranches and, meeting a few other people. Hopefully it'll be a rather interesting day. And then tonight we've got a little special treat for y'all, so stay tuned and see how this day unfolds. We'll hopefully have some good content as usual for you. But it's been nice staying up here in Canada. We're at the house of the Ostashowskis right now. And then, like I said, we're heading just a couple doors down for breakfast. So up here, a lot of these guys, they have their farms and ranches, but then they all live in this little lake community. So their houses are in one location, their farms are another, and that's because land's so expensive. A lot of people have to lease land and all that type of stuff. My concern with leasing land is, a lot of these farmers that own all this land are getting up there in age, and what's going to happen when they pass on? Are their family members going to want to hold on to the land and continue leasing it to other farmers, or are they going to want to sell that land and liquidate? And it's become so unaffordable that a farmer just can't go out and justify paying the price that it would cost to actually buy the land. Now Lawrence and Nathaniel, they all do have several quarters that they own themselves, so that's good. But what about all the leased land? These are the questions that go through my head sometimes.
Hopeless dreamers, realists, believers, wandering souls, innocent, young and old. Searching for a place to hang your hat. Run away, coming home. They're all around you, but you're all alone. Hopeless dreamers, realists, believers, wandering souls, innocent, young and old. Searching for a place to hang your hat. You're gonna have to live with that.
Did you bring some rain for us?
Hopefully.
So this was a pasture that I fed all winter on, and you can see the trash, trying to build up the soil moisture and the fiber. So we fed here all winter, about 150 cows, and so we try to minimize the soil disturbance. We did some disturbance here on the end because they're reclaiming an oil lease over here. There's an old oil lease you'll see that's been disturbed. They've cultivated it to try and get it to aerate a little more. And so we're going to seed right through it this year. And this will be a fall, winter silage, bale grazing, silage bales, swath grazing pasture. That's forage peas.
You got maples?
I don't know, that's more forage peas it's called.
That's maples.
Well, I don't know, what is this, what does the bag say?
Doesn't say nothing. That's maple peas.
Was that bad?
No.
Forage peas.
Yeah, forage peas, whatever. They're maple peas.
These guys know their product. You can do it, you got a job, you can hang on to these bags.
Yeah,
Those
hold
bags
these
are
bags. Here, we'll put you in one. You want to do a race?
What was that? What's with maple peas?
What is that? It's in the back of them.
Maybe stand on this side. I'll move my truck out and then we're gonna drive in here and you have to move it out again. Pretty friendly, but I don't trust any big bulls, especially a couple weeks before breeding. I'm Lawrence Ference from Bonnyville, Elk Point, Alberta. My farm ranch is Corner Creek Farms. We've been farming bison since 1993. Actually, back in 1987, we started with elk. And the Alberta government at the time was trying to encourage agricultural producers to diversify in their operations. That was back in 86, 87. So we learned about the elk farming. It was low maintenance and kind of an up-and-coming thing, so we got into elk farming. And then about 5-6 years later, my wife Maureen and I decided we were going to diversify again, and we got our first 7 bison in February. Believe it or not, Valentine's Day, I got her a Valentine's gift.
in February of 1993. So that was our basis for our original herd. So we're farming about 12 quarters of land right now, some rented, some owned, and we're basically a cow-calf bison operation. Anywhere from 140 to 160 cows is kind of our number for our pasture will sustain. I grew up on the farm. I wanted to live on the farm and didn't want a grain farm. Our land is marginal to some extent, a lot of rocks in areas. So in a lot of ways, the land was made for pasture, whether it was cattle. We had beef cattle when I was growing up in a mixed farm as we grew up. And I certainly didn't want to spend as much time as I could see required in a lot of our beef operations or any other type of sort of mixed farming operation, whether it was hogs or chickens or. So I wasn't interested in that. So an elk kind of spoiled us because they're very low maintenance and they're is unique and they're very intriguing animals. So then it was when the opportunity came up, I had purchased more land and I thought, well, I can't really afford to stock it with elk because they don't need a big land base per se. And so then I thought, a cousin of mine said, hey, you should look at bison, and that's how we got started. So it fit my sort of dream of agriculture. You think about the history of that animal, how historic and how impactful they have been in our North America. And I think it's like going back to Europe or something. You see an old church or something, you try to reflect on the impact that church had in that part of the world or that community or whatever. And I think that's the intriguing part too, is you step back and think about the impact the American bison, the buffalo, had on the sustainability of the native First Nations people that lived across all of North America. So I find myself, that's intriguing. So if you step back and think about that, the dominance that those animals had, they managed, in some ways today we're managing them in a sense to conserve them and preserve them and of course provide livelihoods for families. But if you look back in time, like I don't know how many thousands of years ago, they managed the North American plains in a sense because they managed the First Nations people that lived there, because as the bison migrated through their prairies and naturally migrated from the south to the north, they managed the land. They cultivated the land. Can you imagine 60 million animals, their hooves, cultivating the land and aerating it and adding fiber to the land through the manure and then the First Nations people following them. So they're in a sense managing the migration of the First Nations people, but they sustained them. And so that's intriguing. Today we're managing them in a sense. We're preserving them and we've conserved our, Charlie says, it's one of the biggest conservation initiatives, that the world has seen in a sense. So that's the other intriguing part of that animal. We're here, we watch them every day, but if you just step back and think about the impact they had, just step back and appreciate that.
Hello, Charlie.
Hey.
We're gonna do a little buffalo rodeo in here.
Okay.
We're just gonna go around them slowly and see if they'll follow that fence line. We're not gonna chase them too hard. If Shauna wants to move up a little bit, she can kind of veer off that corner a little bit.
All right.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Hopeless dreamers, realists, believers, wandering souls, innocent, young and old.